it is easy as a landlord to get lazy about switching out the codes, and you really don't want to do this. You need to have a different code for every new tenant that comes in, and you also need to have a different code and a record for any service provider that's entering your unit, and for you as the landlord when you enter the unit. So by service provider, I mainly mean cleaners, handymen, anybody that would take care of the sewer or the plumbing, electrical, etc. Everybody should have their own code. That way you have a good documented history of who has been in the property and when. And this is great with Wi-Fi locks because you can assign different people their own code. You can set the codes on a schedule. So if you have Beth from Florida coming in from February 1st to April 30th, you can set her code from February 1st to April 30th. If you have a handyman that you regularly use, they can get their own code. The cleaner can get their own code. This helps keep your tenants safe and it helps keep you safe. And that's why I have it up top. As a reminder, I will put everything in the description again. So if you're looking for any of these products, there's links below. They are sponsored Amazon links, which just means that Amazon gives me a cut, not that you pay more. All right, so that's tip number one. Let's go to tip number two. Okay, so going into tip number two, since we've already been talking about safety, both safety for the tenant and safety for the host, we're just going to continue that trend and talk about surveillance cameras. This is something that comes up a lot in my consulting calls as far as people being concerned about them having cameras and whether or not that's okay. Now, Airbnb, whether you're in the short-term or mid-term rental space, says it's fine to have external cameras. You just need to disclose them. They also have a note about not having them in sensitive areas like bedrooms or bathrooms. I think you're best protected to just not have any kind of internal camera system. So again, okay to have them on the outside. You just need to make sure that in the listing it's disclosed, and that is on Airbnb, but as a best practice, you should carry that to Furnished Finder and Zillow Rental Manager as well. My second tip for this is that you use a name brand camera and also that you don't call it surveillance. It sounds much better to say we use Ring technology on site. This is definitely a marketing recommendation. Talk about it like it's a luxury benefit for the property. And one way to signal that is by using luxury products. So in this case, Ring, I'll link to the one that I like and that I use. I think that there are a couple other name brands that you're probably okay with, but Ring is the most universally known. Okay, tip number three, motion sensor lights. I like motion sensor lights if you have any kind of dark areas in your space, and they also are great for night lights. I think they give staircases and other areas an elevated look. For some reason, it just makes it look more expensive when you have stairs lit up, coming downstairs to get water or to access the bathroom. It's a great safety feature to have in the house, and they're fairly inexpensive. Before we get into tip number four, if you feel like you're learning something so far, please give this video a like. If you are looking for more information on how to self-property manage and or you're a small-time investor, meaning you have 10 properties or less, this channel is built for you. And if you want notifications of future videos, please subscribe. Okay, items 4, 5, and 6 are going to be a combo smoke and carbon monoxide detector, a fire extinguisher, and a first aid kit. So I think these serve two purposes. One is that obviously you want your tenants to be safe and to have the ability to stay safe. And two, I think it's a good way to market yourself as a really responsible landlord. Just calling it out, even if it's already built in as a filter, I think is really smart because it signals to the tenant that you do care about them, you do care about their safety, you are on top of things, and I do think the tenant will have a good reaction to these items. So I definitely recommend including them. Okay, let's get to tip 7. We are moving out of safety and moving into office items. So we are going to cover items 7 and 8 on this midterm rental furnished checklist. Item number 7 is a travel second screen. The responsibility on this is for the tenant maybe to bring in that second screen, but I think it serves you well to have it and also take a picture of it. A misconception in the midterm rental space and also in the short-term space, so basically on furnished platforms, is that we see a lot of photos of like coffee makers or open cabinets, etc. I don't think that that's good marketing, because people fairly make the assumption that those items are going to be there. They know that it's not going to be an empty cabinet in a successful furnished rental, so it is obvious that there will be plates, etc. there. I don't think it's as obvious that a second screen will be on site, and I think a lot of your tenants, although they'll be traveling nurses, there will also be a lot of white collar workers and remote workers, and remote workers really like second screens. So that's item number 7. Now I'm going to talk about item number 8. We are almost halfway through this furniture checklist. Item 8 is probably the most important one. I get a lot of questions around what to do with flex space. So should I make it an office? Should I squeeze a little bed in there? What should I do? I think there's a lot you can do with a flex space. So 1, I would recommend having a desk, but 2, I would recommend doing one of these L couches. Look nice and that you can use in an office as a couch, but then also if you have more tenants coming for that stay, you have an extra bed. Or a lot of tenants, when they come in, let's say you're going to be in Denver for 6 months, Mexico for 6 months, California for 6 months, maybe their friends and family are going to come and visit, in which case it's awesome to also have this bed, because it can be a couch when the friends and family aren't there, and when they are in town, you can pull it out and use it. So I really like this for a flex space. It's a way to go back and forth depending on who your tenant is. Okay, item 9 on our midterm rental furnishing checklist is a large TV. And the reason why I say a large TV is because when we think about the tenant pool, they tend to be white collar workers that make a decent amount of money. These people also probably are not traveling with kids, so they have disposable income, and they will pay for amenities and pay for nicer things if they are available to them. I live with a sports fanatic, and a TV is important to him. And I think this is true for a lot of people in this tenant group. So I recommend getting the biggest smart TV that will fit on your wall. Okay, for items 10 and 11, we are going to move into the bedroom. Item number 10 is a king bed. Similar to what we see with the oversized television set, I think our demographic has a little extra money that they're willing to spend on luxuries. And this isn't just if you're coming in as a couple, it is also if you're coming in with animals. I know a lot of people that sleep with their animals, specifically with dogs, and a king size bed helps facilitate this. So I would say a king size bed if you are looking to furnish a property. If you already have a queen size bed, no problem, no worries. But if you have the space and you are shopping, I would definitely do a king size bed. Added to this, Airbnb has added it as a filter, which means that it is a popular amenity, meaning people look for it, meaning you should put it in your headline. And if you are looking for consulting, I offer a 1 hour, 2 hour, 6 hour, or a listing build package. A lot of people just have me as their co-host. I build out their property on whatever website they choose, and then I help them vet and source their first tenant. This is sort of like in between property management. It hopefully sets you up for success in the future so that you don't need property management, because I certainly believe in the midterm and long-term space, we should not be using property management. It is a waste of money. If you are interested in that, just email me. My email is on the screen. Item number 11, it has a lot of different names, but it is cellular or honeycomb blackout shades. So these are the shades that you can pull down at the top or at the bottom. They are fairly inexpensive and easy to install, but I think that they are a good option as far as usability, and also they work with a lot of different aesthetics and sizes of windows. So if you are someone that's into design and you have a dramatic look and you think that curtains are what you need, go for it. I totally get it. But if you're someone that's a little bit less interested in design, these will do, and I found they make tenants pretty happy. Okay, 2 more sections to go. 12, 13, and 14 are going to be style, because I have a lot of people that have a nice property in a good location, but they're not quite sure how to decorate it. So I just have 3 quick tips on how to decorate a property. Number 1, so item number 12, the tip number 1 is large oversized mirrors. Mirrors typically don't go out of style. They make your property look bigger, and they also can be a centerpiece for the photos. So really large, really dramatic mirrors. Item number 13, so number 2 on this style list, plants. So fake plants. Amazon has a ton of great fake plants. Again, I think bigger is better. These tend to photograph really well. It has mass appeal, and in my opinion, you also want your rental to have mass appeal. So mirrors and plants will help facilitate that. And then final design tip. So item number 14, third design tip is peel and stick wallpaper. This also goes well with a dramatic accent wall, but you are trying to stand out when someone's just scrolling through all these different properties. I think an accent wall done right in an office, a living room, or a bathroom really stands out. All right, and then my final items, so items 15 and 16 for this furnished rental checklist, have to do with prep. So how you're gonna prep your property between tenants. The first is Scotchgard, and just covering all your upholstery in Scotchgard. This will help you if anyone comes in and spills something. You might not have a totally destroyed couch or upholstery with a nasty stain on it if it's been Scotch guarded, because it'll be much easier to pick up that stain. So that's item number one. Our final item, our round out item, is an ozone machine. And an ozone machine, you can set it in a property for an hour, walk away, and it will help get rid of most smells, even some animal smells. So I really like this. It helps give the property a freshness before you hand it over, and they're pretty affordable. Okay, if you've been watching this video, I think that you may be new to the midterm or furnished rental space, and so I'm going to direct you to this next video, which is 5 trends to avoid. So 5 pieces of bad advice in the midterm and investing space in 2024. So what will serve you as a landlord, and also what will not work for you as a landlord.